Okay, everyone back.
Okay.
Okay, we need to do a summarization of the whole thing. So basically, you can see, the story is about when the Buddha gained his enlightenment, he surveyed the world, see who would able to understand his discovery. And the very first one he saw is that five ascetics who appears to him at the start, now living in the Dhamma in Isipatana. So for more than 2 weeks, he not staying nearby. For more than 2 weeks, he been walking until reach the deer park. At first, the ascetic did not believe that their old friend was now a Buddha. With some convincing, they listened. Some stayed to listen to a Dhamma, and others went for food. So it's only over, not the very first sight. It's only when Buddha start having those ways shining out that they believe that he is of somebody. So Venerable Odana was the very first to attain Sotapatti. So the story continue. So the main section of the discourse is about to avoid the two extreme, self-indulgent and self-torture. So Buddha recommended the middle way or the middle path. Then you need to understand the Four Noble Truths. But now you all should be very good from the cause to the ending of the Noble Truth. And then the medication, Buddha prescribed the Noble Eightfold Path. So how to end suffering. So by following a Noble Eightfold Path, you soon will end your suffering and realize Nibbana. So at the end of Sutta, you can see the joy of the celestial being who heard the Buddha. So you are expect to know, read the YMBA text again if I miss out anything, okay? So read through and then read slowly with understanding. Then you should have a grasp of what is about. So main content is a two extreme, Four Noble Truth, and the Noble Eightfold Path. So we understand this, you're on the right course. Then Buddha also explained the middle way, the way to practice. This was the first part of his discourse. There were two extremes that sought to be avoided by a person practicing the Buddha's teaching. As I mentioned earlier, is self-indulgent, enjoying all your five senses to the maximum, or enjoying pleasure to the extreme. So the other is inflicting pain on your body or on yourself, suffering on oneself. So all of this you pursue is on a wrong belief that they will lead you to enlightenment. The first extreme is called indulgent, or Kama Sukha Likanu Yoga. They are religious group that resort to extreme enjoyment of the senses as a way to find happiness. The Samana Achiva Kesabandi is the one that practice materialism. So enjoy the maximum. Enjoy the G today as happy as you can. Don't care about tomorrow. Upon death, everything is annihilated. That's what his doctrine is about. So for those who follow his method, Buddha said, you will end in unhappiness. And there are individuals who succumb to this idea. So Buddha uses the following term to describe the hollowness of this practice. So you follow this kind of materialism practice, enjoy your five senses. So this will be your base. A vulgar, base, vulgar, worldly, ignoble, and populous. I mean, all these in the end, you get nothing from this. You just enjoy your five senses, you have nothing. Okay? For those who are ignorant and foolish to enjoy all these five senses. And then the second one, I think called self-torture. That one, the ascetic, which our Buddha also follow, is to find answer by torturing their body so they can find answer from the suffering. So even today, some people belonging to other region resort to this type of practice. So in India, you can see this, especially when you visit India. Then you can observe all this happening every day. One example is standing on one leg for a long time. They believe that you stand as long as possible until your leg cramp and then suffer. It's a sort of practice that you realize the truth. In India, some of the athletics also follow live like a dog and ox. Buddha already told them, you follow that, guarantee second, your next existence, you will be this animal or an ox. Because the tendency of you following a habit will follow to the next existence. So Buddha described this practice as painful, enormous, profitless. Because Buddha gone through this process of this torturing without any success. So again, these words are important. Notice that which of the terms we set the similar and which one are different. Okay, very important about the middle path. They tend to set question on this. Okay, middle path. So you must know it. Talking about these two extremes. Okay. And then he said there are foolish people who misinterpret the teaching of this middle way as a justification of indulging in moderate levels of killing, stealing, misbehaving, telling lies, drinking alcohol, and so on and so on. As to say, they avoid extreme form of bad behavior. I think that middle way don't do the max, do the minimum, but still engage in some level of bad behavior. This is also wrong. The middle path doesn't mean this. Okay? Practicing a precept that needs to be complete as practical. So when you take a precept, it must be as clear as possible. There's no something a midway house. There's no way in it. So never kill a cockroach and justify your action by saying that you will not kill an elephant, but can kill a cockroach. So this is not an application to the theory of the middle way. All right. So these are all wrong view. So in the practice of middle way, Majjhima Patipada is negatively stated Dhamma. Is the first of the 5 precepts say, I refrain from killing. So this positive statement of a way is to follow the Noble Eightfold Path described in the 3rd part of the discourse. Okay, this is how our Buddha preached one by one. Then we talk about the 4 Noble Truths. The second part of the first description of 4 Noble Truths, the basis of Buddhist philosophy. The whole Dhamma is an elaboration of 4 Noble Truths. Enlightenment is reached by understanding the 4 Noble Truths. It's the ultimate goal of every practicing Buddhist. So to get and understand, one needs to practice in line with the indicator of the Noble Eightfold Path. So what are the 4 Noble Truths? When you are born, is suffering. So existence is suffering. You will go through the cycle of birth, decay, disease, and death. Another one is to be especially existent. The next one is united with the unpleasant. As I told you, you live with your unpleasant colleague, you have a miserable working life. To be separated from the pleasant. Okay. You enjoy all the good things, and then you are derived of the span of the good thing. Okay. So when you derive of the good thing, you suffer from unpleasantness. And then not getting one's desire. Especially baby. When you train baby as a small kid, don't always give way to the kid, to the small baby or small kid. The moment you give way too much, it will be a torture to you in the later life, because they demand, then you have to deliver. Okay, so this is, you need to educate them in the right way. And then we human, attachment to the 5 aggregates, especially our body. We always think more of body, very important. The rest of little significant. Okay. And then second noble truth is a craving is a cause of suffering. Craving for sensual pleasure, Dhamma, all your five senses. You want to enjoy all the five senses to the max. I told you, certain religion crave for existence with the God. Okay, so they hope upon ending of this life, they will be born in the heavenly world and thereafter. And then craving for non-existent. Another one is about non-existent is also another one which I previously thought about. You know, when you suffer a lot, suffer a lot until you're so miserable, you don't want to live, okay? You don't want to live. You don't end your life. This is another sort of craving. You don't want to face the reality of suffering, so you end it as fast as possible. And then you can live, after end this life, you can live somewhere as soon as possible, so no need to come back. So that's what they believe. So the craving for non-existent is another form of suffering, especially those there's a case of our this monk who want to end in Nirvana. So if you wait all the slow process of getting to, he know he is able to attain, but he is overzealous and then he wants it to attain as soon as possible. So he commits suicide. Okay, there's a about that. But our Buddha discovered that. And later, when he died, he managed to go to Nibbana. You go and find the story. It's about a monk who crave for Nibbana. So this shortcut to attain, to get what you want. So craving for non-existent, especially when you suffer in this life. So craving cause produce rebirth, come by passionate craving, welcoming this and that. Okay, so there's no end of rebirth. You will be cling to everything, so there's no end to it. And then next one is a cessation of suffering. How to end it? It's a complete separation from destruction of craving. They call Aseva Vira Nirodo. In such a way, such as the following. So you have to get rid of forsaken craving, cargo. Renunciation of craving, pati nisago. Liberation from craving, muti. And non-attachment to craving, analayo. Okay, so elaborate. There are 4 types of ending. Okay, how to end your craving. And the fourth, the path leading to suffering. This is the Noble Eightfold Path, and is in a 3-way. In regard the 4 truths, there are 3 aspects. Therefore, have different ways of understanding that. The 3 aspects are: 1, existence and nature of truth applies to all 4 truths. Function related to each of the truth, and accomplishment of each of the truth. Okay, so Noble Eightfold Path is to end this. Okay, so this is the path leading to cessation of suffering. And then truth number 1, the function of the first truth is a comprehension of the truth. Accompaniment of the first truth is understanding. Okay, first you need to understand. And then second truth is that you need to eradicate the actual eradicating of craving. And the truth is that you need for realize the actual realization. Fourth truth is a need to pursue development of truth, the completion of such development. So this way, the 4 truths are 12 ways. So 4 times 3, 12 ways. way. That's why they call the child true. Then Noble Eightfold Path, right understanding, samadhi, right thought, samma sakappa, right speech, samma vacha, right action, samma manta, right livelihood, samma achiva, effort, samma vayayama, right mindfulness, samma sati, right concentration, samma samadhi. So number 3, 4, and 5. This one considered as morality. Number 6, 7, 8. 6, 7, 8. Considered as bhavana, or what I call mind development or growth. So number 1 and 2 for development of wisdom. So normally we have start with the wisdom. Right understanding, then your right thought. So in fact, this 8-line practice amount to well-known called formula sila. Remember sila, bhavana, and panna. Okay, so these 8 can be divided into these 3. So conclusion, what the discourse being delivered that arose in the Venerable Godana, the lustrous stainless eye of truth. He understood whatsoever the reason that must inevitably perish. So the monk attained Sotapatti, the first state of enlightenment. Upon noticing this, the Buddha expressed his joy. So the celestial being who heard about what happening in Isipatana rejoiced. So the Dhamma could not be expounded by any other ascetic or priest, god, mother, or Brahma in the world, and be proclaimed the resurrection spread to all the heavens. So the description repeated for each heaven. So the Buddha explained his own experience in attaining enlightenment using the famous term he had comprehended in the middle path, which promote insight, or what I call chakku, or the vision, and the knowledge, nada, and tend to lead to peace, vipu sampaya, samma, and higher knowledge, abhinaya, and then enlightenment, sambodhaya, and finally, you get nibbana, the fruit. So these words are repeated many times in this discourse. So you read through, sometimes repeating many times. So when the first discourse is chanted at temple, we need to keep this information in front and learn to feel a sense of joy. The sublime Dhamma was founded in this manner. We have to be most respectful, as if the Buddha was present with us and teaching to us. So say sadhu sadhu at a certain point to help us the mind on track. So when the Dhammacakkapavattana sutta is chant, so these are mindful terms for you to reflect when you are attending this so-called session. Okay. Okay, with this we end. Then we need to do homework. And next one, who want to do? Sister Teo. Sister Teo is there.
Okay.
Okay, so your turn. The other two have been repeating it. So,
Is it? Okay.
yeah, you're going to exam.
Oh, yeah. Just one day I missed.
Don't worry, you do for the good of many. Okay. So, assignment next session, your one, you need to
Next
explain the
session is
middle
where?
path, to
Next session
extreme.
is 28. Okay.
Okay, so not easy, but need good explanation. So you're going to do research and then present to us.
Explain the middle path expounded. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Then, brother Marco, your homework today.
Okay. So do you want me to present now?
Up to you. You need a rest or not? You know we can do it now.
It's okay with me.
I'm all right. I'm all right.
Okay, so I'll share my PowerPoint. Okay, can you see my PowerPoint?
Yeah.
Yes.
And okay, good. So good afternoon, Brother Lau and fellow meetups. Today is my presentations on this topic. Question year 2013, enumerate the noble qualities of the Sangha, that is the order of Bhikkhu and Bhikkhuni as depicted in the Ratana Sutta. Okay, so today is 10th of November 2024. So the next 4 pages are the Pali text of Ratana Sutta and the English translation given by Venerable Piyadasi Thera. So it's just for our record. We'll not go through these 4 pages. We'll go through. Okay, we'll start from here. The introduction. Okay. In the Theravada tradition, there is this book called the Book of Protection, Paritas. I refer this to a source which is given by Venerable Piyadasi Thera. The link will be in the attachment later on at the end of the slide. And certain paritas are chanted regularly in many Buddhist temples and centers. And some of the paritas are chanted only on certain occasions or days. It is believed that these paritas have certain power, especially among the faithful followers. The efficacies of these protective suttas are possibly due to one, the power of the truth, that's satya, the power of virtue, sila, that means the virtues of the people who actually recite that suttas, the power of sound. It is believed that the melodic and soothing chants that lead to calm and peacefulness in the mind of reciters and listeners. Fourth one is probably the efficacies of the teaching. For example, in SN 414, Mahakassapa Bhujanga, Mahamoggallanda Bhujanga, and even Giri Mananda Sutta. These are arahants, and who at certain point, one of the arahants actually falls sick, and by listening to the Bhujanga, they actually recover from the sickness. It's not to say that these arahants forgot the teaching, but by listening to the teaching, they recall, they believe that they recall the teaching, and by itself, the illness disappear and they recover from the sickness. So Ratana Sutta is actually one of these paritas or protective suttas that are listed in this book. So in the Ratana Sutta, there are 17 verses. And out of these 17 verses, 14 verses are attributed to the Buddha, and 3 verses are uttered by the Saka according to commentary. And out of these 14 verses are mentioned about the Sangha's characteristics and virtues. And the others do mention about Buddhas and Dhammas. And these are teachings. So they are listed as follows. That means the Sangha's characteristics and virtues are listed as follows. That means the subsequent slides. I'll be focusing on these Sangha characteristics and virtues as according to the question asked. So in Ratana Sutta, verse 6 start with the Sangha characteristics and virtues. The first one that was mentioned is Chattari, Yugani, and Atta Pugala, which means 4 pairs and 8 individuals. And these 4 pairs of noble persons are actually Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami, and Arahata. And each pair, one is on the path, the other one is the foot. Thus, there are 8 types of noble persons. Then the second characteristic is Daki Neya, which means that is worthy of offerings. So it refers to these 8 noble persons are worthy of offerings. And the third point is Sugasa Savaka. That means it refers to disciples of the Buddha or the enlightened one. And they are the disciples of the noble one. Then the fourth point is Etesu Dinani Mahapalani, which means that gifts yield rich results to givers. And this is equivalent to Anuttara Punya Titam in the Sangha Nusati. The remarks on the green font is actually referring to the notes or the virtues of Sangha in the Sangha Nusati. So anyone giving gifts to such person, that is the noble person, this 8 noble person, will derive very good or bountiful results. So in summary on this verse 6 is that there are 4 pairs, each with a path and a fruition, or equivalent to 8 individuals of noble persons. And they are Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami, and Arahant. So these 8 noble persons are worthy of offerings, as the gifts given to them bears bountiful fruits to the giver. They are the disciples of the noble one, the Gautama Buddha, the enlightened one. So it's with regards to verse 6. Verse 7, Sangha. Here verse 7, there are 2 characteristics of Sangha Buddha. So we'll focus on the Sangha. So in Sangha, the first point that it refers to is Manasa Harina, that means the steadfast mind. And the second point is Sapai Yuta, which means that train well, or if we refer to Sangha Nusati, it can mean Supatipano, Ujupatipano, Nyaya Patipano, or Sameji Patipano, because being trained well can be interpreted from various aspects, which is elaborated by Sangha Nusati. The second part of this verse is referring to the virtues and characteristics of Buddha. So the teacher of Buddha is actually free from passion, free from defilement, and is mentioned to be Nikamino. And Buddha is also Te Patipata, that is, who attained to which should be attained. That means he has actually achieved the goal. And what are the goals? Amata Vigaya, that is plunged into deathlessness, or equivalent to Nibbana. Or another way to look at it is being an Arahant. And Buddha is also Lada Muda Nibutim Bujam Mana. That means who enjoy peace freely. That means he can be in Nibbana at any time and anywhere that he likes, and he can go in and out as and when he wishes. So comment on this verse 7 is that means in a way, in summary, the Sangha, the steadfast mind, is well trained in the dispensation of the accomplished teacher, Gautama Buddha, who himself is free from passion or defilements. and he has attained what he has set out for, that is deathlessness, and who is now enjoying that state peace freely. So, to elaborate on this, it is said that the Buddha and his teaching is against the trend and thinking of the society then and even now. Thus, the Sangha's trainings requires both physical and mental strength, confidence and trust, that is saddha, determination, that means you must be very determined, and you have the patience, kanti, as well as wisdom, panya. And the system is regarded as the right way, that means supatipano, then the straight way, ujupatipano, and its methodological way, which is nyaya patipano, and accordingly, that is samichi patipano, towards liberation. So these four characteristics of Sangha Nusati is been presented by this been trained well. Next, we go to verse 8. So in verse 8, it was mentioned that it is unshaken by the four quarters of the winds. That means it's unshaken by worldly matters. Sappurisa literally means righteous man or wise man. Arya Sacha Pasata, that means who comprehends or perceives with wisdom of the noble truth. So to wrap up this verse 8, it refers that these 8 righteous noble men who have comprehended or perceived the noble truth will not be shaken by the 8 worldly winds from all the 4 quarters. And the 8 worldly winds are gain and loss, fame and infame, praise and blame, pleasure and pain. Next, we go to verse 9. Ariya Sachani, realize the noble truth, or Ariya or noble truth, well taught Supatipano. Actually, these 2 is actually a repeat of the previous verse as well. Kicapi ti te honti busapamata nati bhavam attam mam adiyanti. I'm not too sure the literal meaning of this statement, but this is the interpretation. This is the translation that I copy and paste. That means it means that the least, that means the Sotapanna, will not take an 8 existence in the sense sphere. So, in the sense that this Sotapanna will go towards liberation from rebirth and suffering. At most, at the 7th existence. And this is equivalent to Nyaya Patipano. So the comment on this verse 9 is that those who are taught by him, the Buddha or his teaching, because Buddha has Mahapariyadima already. So now what we have is his teaching, the Dhamma, and realize the noble truths. That means those who learn his Dhamma and realize the noble truth will not take an 8 existence in the realm of sense fields. So this implies that this noble one, who has attained the first level of enlightenment, Sotapanna, or stream enterer. So at most is that after the 7th birth, this noble one will attain ultimate goal, that is the deathlessness or Nibbana. Next, we go to verse 10. So, verse 10 mentioned about Sakaya Diti Vichikicha Silabatam, which was abandoned. So these 3 factors are what we call the 3 lower factors. So once it's abandoned or eradicated, it shows the level of purification and purity of this noble person. Chatu Chatuhaya Yicha Vipamuto, which is free from the four woeful states. That means that the advantage of this noble person is that they will not fall or reborn into the four woeful states. And this is one of the advantage or benefits of a noble person, or what we call Seka. Cha Bahit Tani Ta Nani Abahave Katum. And they will not commit the six major wrongdoings. And what does this mean is that the Sotapanna noble person has abandoned or eradicated these three lower factors, namely the belief in a permanent unchanging self, that is Sakaya Ditti, doubtful of the triple gem, that is the Vicikicca, and the belief that rites and rituals can lead one to liberation, that is Silabata Paramasa. So, because of that eradication of these three lower factors, he is incapable of committing any of the six heinous deeds, that is, killing of father, killing of mother, or killing of Arahant. And then the fourth one is injuring the Buddha. Of course, now it's not possible, but during the Buddha's time, this is what happened to, what was done by Buddha Devadatta. And the fifth one is cause schism in the Sangha. And the sixth one is has false beliefs. Because these six deeds will lead one to be reborn in the four lower or woeful ranks. So a Sotapanna would not commit these six wrongdoings. And as a result of that, they will not be reborn in the four woeful states. Next, we go to verse 11. Kincapi so kamam karoti papakam, incapable of concealing mystic. And that is because he has seen the noble truth of Nibbana. And this is another aspect of the quality of sekas, of trainers. And what sort of mystics they will do is through the body, that is by the deed, or through the mouth, where they utter the words, or through the mind, where they think about it. Right? And because of the noble one has seen the path. And this is actually a repeat. The virtue is actually a repeat of some of the previous verses. So this Sotapanna person who has seen the path, that means they have seen the noble path. Even if he does mistake, that means this will be the milder mistake that the noble one can, the lower Arya can still possibly make mistakes. That means they do it wrongly, not in accordance. But then this is not too serious. So whether they did it by words, by deed, by action, or by thought, he is incapable of hiding it. That means he will not hide it. And he will confess and admit his transgression. Right? Next, we go to verse 14. Past karma spent, no new karma is generated. No attachment to future becoming or bhava. The gem of rebirth consciousness, Patisanichitta, has died. There is no desire for reliving. So this means that this wise man will fade away of existence, which implies that this is one of the quality of Arahant. So the noble one who has attained Arahantship, he will not create karma, nor attach to future rebirth. as there is no desire for rebirth or reliving, therefore upon death or his parinirvana, there will be no becoming, or indirectly, he actually fade away out of existence. And his past karma will be considered as spent or not effective or defunct ahosi. So that is 7 class which has relation to Sangha. So in conclusion, in Sangha Nusati, it is listed in 9 broad and clear characteristics and virtues of the Buddha's Ariya Sangha. And that is especially with regard to that of an Arahant. Whereas here in the Ratana Sutta, the Sangha characteristics and virtues are listed, but they are less specific and they are intertwined here and there over the Ratana Sutta. And except for Sotapanna, which is more elaborated. Similarly, the Buddha and the Dhamma's characteristics and virtues are also less and not elaborated. Just my speculation, just my what you call interpretation. Maybe it has specific purpose and or for that particular occasion, like for example, calling upon and reminding the devas to protect those suffering beings exiled them, and to reciprocate the goodwill of human who had made frequent offerings to the devas. This is my interpretation. And the other conclusion I would like to put for is similar to other Dhamma topics. We may also compile the list of characteristics and virtues of Sangha in Sangha Nusati and this Ratana Sutta side by side. That means you put them, these 2 suttas, side by side, and then analyze the similarities and the differences. And from there, we can come up with a more encompassing list of Sangha characteristics and virtues. And for that, I actually put it in the appendix, because this is not required by the question that we are talking about. So that's the end of my presentation. Thank you. And
Okay, good try.
and this is the appendix that I like to share. So this is what I've summarized it, just for your reference. Is it readable for you? Can you all read it? Or is the word
Yes.
point to can? Because I have another I broke it out into 2 pages. So these are the notes and references that I refer to. That means the Ratana Sutta translation is by Venerable Piyadasi Thera, and the Book of Protection, that is a link, and it's also done by Venerable Piyadasi Thera. I have also referred to YMBA book as well as Brother Lau's lecture notes. And those in italics is actually Romanized Pali, and those in the green note refers to the Sangha Nusati. The number refers to the virtues listed in Sangha Nusati. So I would like to extend my appreciation to teacher, Brother Rasika Lau, for teaching, guiding, and sharing his knowledge and experience
Okay,
about
thank
Buddha
you very
Dhamma
much.
and spiritual practice. And I would like to thank the opportunity to share my research and understanding of this topic. And I also like to thank Metalosh and Brother Kisiling for their continuous support of this YMBA course, and also fellow Kalangan for listening to this presentation and have been accompanying me in this YMBA course. So, as usual, This is my confession and seeking for forgiveness. Should there be any mistakes in this presentation, it is mine and only mine. So I seek for your corrections and forgiveness. Thank you. So this one will come later. So this is what I did is I break just down the table, the appendix into 2 pages so that it's easier to read. And you find that there are some of them which is actually both Ratana as well as Sangha Sati actually have the same. But some of them may be phrased differently. So when they're phrased differently, in the case of Sangha Sati, it could be interpreted in various ways. So if you look at Ratana Sutta, you find that the descriptions of the Sangha is more elaborate, more detailed, even though it's scattered. So we may have to, besides using the verses as our guideline, we can actually combine some of these characteristics and virtues of Sangha into a certain systematic way of presentation. But that I did not do. I just follow based on the verse for convenience. This is page 1 and this is page 2. So some of the virtues in Sangha Sati which was not listed, I put it here at the bottom. So there is the Ahuneyo, worthy of gifts, Pahuneyo, worthy of hospitality, and Anjali Karaneyo, reverential salutation. Worthy of reverential salutation are listed here. Now, the rest, the other 6 of it are somehow in the above list. So here we have the Supatipano, Ujupatipano, Nyaya Patipano, Samechi Patipano, Dakineya, and Anutaro Punyaketam. That's it. My presentation, and thank you.
Hey, good work. Do plenty of research comparable to the university standard. So
this is copy and paste is okay, but then if you were to do it,
I know, but
then
just a comment. When you writing essay, if you can use the Pali and put in exam paper, be good But if you can't, just remember the main point and expand on it So basically, essay question. If you are good in Pali, you put that kind, you earn extra mark. So if you need to put it in essay form. So just remember that. If you can present your style, I can recall that. I salute you. So it's a good for you all for do revision because your brother has presented all the verses and then the translation there. So when you are doing revision, very easy for you to recall. That's one thing you have to thank him. Other than that, my comment is that you need to write an essay. So remember the main point, then expand on it. I think I don't find any fault in you. So only you need to write in the essay form. That's all. So thank you. So it can good for your other classmates who needs it for revision. It's very good. Okay.
Brother Cole, why is it the verse 14 no Pali words?
I'm not too sure which Pali words, so I do not have enough time to look at the dictionary, Pali dictionary. So it's also not indicated in the YMBA book. So I could not. I'm not sure which particular word because there might be grammatical consideration.
Okay.
So those that I'm more certain, I try to put in, but those not certain one, that's why I put the whole sentence in it.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Because I'm not Pali students. I'm just trying to learn a bit here and there. So I couldn't in. So I'm not too sure. So I don't want to put in.
Okay.
Okay.
I think
The other
you can
question I would
refer
like
to
ask
Nalanda e-library. It has the translated version for the Ratana Sutta, word by word, also sentence by sentence. I have attached them in the Google Classroom. You can refer to it later.
Oh, okay, good. The other thing I would like to ask Brother Lau is, you see, Brother Lau, in my case, I always prefer to have points, firstly for my, to guide me in presenting my essay, for example. So in this case, I actually write it in the words file. Then after that, I transfer to this PPT. The reason why I want it verse by verse is because this is something like a point by point. Then after that, I put a comment, which is in essay form. And that is a comment or something like a
If
commentary.
you can present the Pali word, the examiner will love it. But he will give you some substance in it. So if you're unable, you have to just write an essay, the theme of it, the point there, then you depend on it. So if you can do that, it will be very good. But not many people like to do Pali one. So if you put it, there will be substance, show substance to the examiner. So in a way, presenter is good for easy for you to remember the point.
Yeah.
I am not sure. I find it is very good as an assignment, but I'm not sure it is okay for answer to the question in the exam, because he
You have to
actually
write an
never
essay, I
asked
told
you
you.
to compare to the Sanganusati. But as an assignment, I find it very good because you make the extra effort to compare the similarities and then make a conclusion. But maybe exam, I think that part no need. Not sure.
If you are individual, if you cannot remember Pali, just remember the theme point, then expand on it. Okay? Write the essay on the particular point and expand on it. It will sufficient to cover you 2 to 3 pages.
No, brother, now
Important, you
my
know how to write.
question is whether to write on the Sanganusati, the comparison to the Sanganusati, when we talk about Ratana Sutta.
Because the question asked is to what are the virtues of the Sangha? That's all you need to answer to the point. You get it? If you ask the Dhamma, then you have to explain the Dhamma. So inside down there got Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. So whichever they said, you need to target what the question want.
So is it let's say if I'm the student writing comparison to Sangha, I mean after I explain everything with it, then I
No,
also
you
put
must
extra point to compare it to the Sanganusati, would I get extra mark?
if logically, I mean, got sense.
Or if I don't write, is it I will not get extra, the full mark?
Okay, when you're doing targeting of the question asked, whatever the question asked, let's say if you talk about Buddha one, it must pinpoint all the Buddha one. Okay, don't go to a Sangha. Because Sangha in some way related, but not everything. Okay, so if Dhamma, you need to explain all related to Dhamma one. So you must get the theme of the sutta, what are the points they want. So you have to list out and expand on it. What the question asks, you give answer. Understand? Essay questions like that one.
Okay. Okay.
So
So
Well,
don't anyhow write.
from my point, the reason why I compare the Sangha Nusati is that because from the that is the examiner probably wants us to also put some of the references or some of the knowledge that we gather from other.
Yeah. You're okay lah. That one will give you extra point.
Because besides the Ratana Sutta itself, if we can correlate to other suttas or even other references, and how we reinforce these Ratana Suttas or expand the virtues which is mentioned in Ratana Sutta, that will actually helps us to gather more strength in our argument as to why we interpret this way. So one of the easiest way is Sangha Nusati, because that is basically a very concise, straightforward, direct point, about the virtues of the Sangha. So that is the reason why I actually look at that as my main reference rather than sutta by sutta. Because when you go by sutta, there is a lot of suttas you have to do research regarding the Sangha. So which I find that I do not have the time. So I would say I'll focus on Sangha Nusati, which is something which
Okay lah. If correlated, relevant, I don't think the examiner will reject you lah. Probably will give you extra point for that. That's what they don't want all the exam, those people taking exam all having same answer.
Okay.
That's how you score A lah. Okay, any more question?
Brother Cole, there's one part where you present, but I cannot remember which verse. You say the it's I think until the part of Buddha has attained enlightenment, then he can be in and out. Well, what is in and out of something? Is it talking about Buddha or Arahant or whatever in and out? Do you recall what you say?
So in verse 7, there is the mention of the what you call. Wait, I go back to verse 7. Okay, can you see?
Yep.
Okay, so you see, they have this teacher Buddha, free from passion and defilement. These are description of the Buddhas, and then he has attained his goal that he has set for deathlessness, and then he actually can enjoy peace. This is based on the verse 7. Okay, we go to verse 7. Okay, this is 5, 6, 7. This is the 7. Okay, 7 now is here. You look at my pointer, we stick fast mind and apply themselves well in the dispensation of Buddha Gautama, free from defilement. That means here, after the first line, the subsequent line is actually descriptions about the Buddha. It's not to do with the Sangha. So that's why the teacher, I purposely highlight that this is with regards to the Buddha. It's not the Sangha. So I did not elaborate on this. It's just a passing through in my presentation only. So you see, they enjoy the peace of Nibbana freely obtained. So my interpretation is they can, besides the peace of Nibbana, they can go in and out as and when they want, freely obtained.
But I think Nibbana is a state, it's not in and out one.
No, here in and out meaning to say they can go into a state of Nibbana, or you can come out from that state as and when you like. Of course, Nibbana as peace is just another aspect of Nibbana, that is peace. And deathlessness is also another aspect of Nibbana. But the thing is that if we wish to go into Nibbana state, he can be there anytime, anywhere he wants. I mean, this is the way I interpret that.
But I thought Nibbana, once you attain enlightenment, you already had the state of Nibbana. Whether, I mean, of course, it's not dying but it's already attained Nibbana. You don't go in and out, right? You already attain
Yeah, maybe my
I don't know.
my use of words may not be that correct but I mean this is the way I see it Of course, Nibbana is a state, and that state, when they are Arahant, they would be, because they have seen the truth already, they have seen the path already, they know. But as to how is it like, I wouldn't know. So the only way I can see is freely obtained. What do you mean by freely obtained in this particular translation? So when you say you can obtain, that means you can get it, you may not get it, right? But here is freely, that means there must be an option that you can take it or you don't take it. You can obtain it or you don't obtain it. I mean, this is the way I read it in the translation.
Okay. Okay.
So I'm not too sure whether my interpretation is correct or not, but the subjective the discussion is okay.
I feel that the state of Nibbana is a state that once you achieve means you achieve. But come to the next word, freely obtained, I don't know how to explain.
But we have to go to other translation and see how they translate it. So any other things? If not, then I'll pass it back to Brother Lau.
Okay, as long as you write in essay, I would say it's safe enough. Please present in essay. Unless you run out of time, then in point form. Okay?
This one definitely run out of time, cannot write so much in 35.
You're using Pali. If you never go and put a Pali, it should be sufficient time.
Oh, okay.
That's the reason why I list out in the table also, so that if we do not want to write too much, we just actually follow the table, the sequence of the table, and then just write from there. Yeah. But then you may have to recompile it such that it's easier to put into essay form.
As long understood by the examiner, then you should be okay. So basically, all essay question, please remember your this fourth year, all like university, all essay question on. So if you have present along this introduction, content, and good conclusion, easily can get 15 to 20 marks. Because I remember the YMBA is less strict than the university. So if you all write a kind of standard, they will award you quite pretty high mark. So any more question? If not, ask Sumita to close the session. So Sai Hun, remember next session, your turn.
Okay.